we're seeing these traumatic issues, and it's just another Tuesday at work, and we go home and we deal with it, and the next day we must come back and just continue. Grab your tea, grab your coffee. We have a lot to talk about today. So, pretty much, bedside nursing is where most nurses start their nursing career and most wish to end their nursing career. Unfortunately, as the years have gone by, and especially this year, so many nurses are leaving bedside nursing or they're leaving the profession altogether. So, today we're just going to be discussing some of the reasons why these nurses are leaving bedside nursing or they're leaving nursing altogether. Because trust me, I've thought about it. I'm just going to be giving you some of my reasons and some of the reasons that I've found out from people why they're leaving bedside nursing. And then hopefully we can start a discussion as to what is happening within our healthcare system that is causing us to want to leave it altogether. Because if we leave, who's going to be left? So let us get into it. Okay, winter has me in a chokehold, but yeah. Anyway, first off, we're going to talk about the unsafe patient ratios that we expected to. So in most hospitals, the patient ratio is one nurse, which is one registered nurse to 10 patients. However, in some wards, you have one RN with another EN and you have 24 to 36 patients. There was a video that I did, and there was a lady that she said they had over 40 patients and there were 2 RNs, which is very unsafe. And the reason why it's unsafe, because these patients require your attention, they require you to give them medication, they require you to be giving them care. And you're never going to give enough care to all of them because you're overwhelmed. There's so many orders that you have to fulfill. There's so many things that you're expected to do. And when we're doing our job, it's not just about giving the medication. It's about now following the doctor's rounds. The dietitians are coming in, the physios. You need to document everything. You need to give the medication. You need to change wounds. You need to put up drops. There's just so many things that is happening. And if you're dealing with 40 patients and there's 2 of you, you're going to be overwhelmed. With just 5 patients, it's a lot. Now imagine with 20. And the other problem that comes with this is if anything happens, whether the patient falls, the patient dies, an adverse reaction occurs and there's no one monitoring this patient, any incident that occurs with this patient or with these patients, when you have these unsafe patient ratios, is management is not going to take ownership of that. They're not going to say, no, it's okay. You guys were overwhelmed. It happens. They're going to say, where were you? And you're going to say, I had other patients to take care of, and they're going to pin it on you. And a lot of nurses, they are so overly stretched out. You're trying to deal with so many different things, and it's just impossible. Imagine being a mom and you having 5 toddlers in the house. Just having 1 toddler, parents complain that it's a lot. Now imagine having 5 toddlers that are all sick and they all need your attention. And they constantly need to be updated, and the dad is calling from the office, hey honey, how is the child doing? How is baby A doing? How is baby D doing? They constantly need updates, and you're trying to keep it together to feed and to provide care for these kids. It's exactly like that, but with adults that are cranky, that are in pain, that are just frustrated of being in the hospital and the way things are slow, etc. And it is exhausting. And in any normal setup, in any workplace, you are allowed to leave because you say the environment is becoming toxic for me, and it's allowed. But unfortunately, now that it comes in a healthcare setup, we're not allowed to do that because, what about the patients? We're constantly being burdened over this thing is you must care for your patients. This moral dilemma that we constantly have of what are my patients going to experience? What's going to happen to my patients if I don't do it? And it's a big burden to be putting on 1 nurse or 2 nurses when the management can just hire more nurses. Piggybacking off the unsafe patient ratios and honestly just being burned out, it is now the unexpected or the impossible demands that are endless. It's the physios that will come and say, this patient needs to be mobilized in this way. They come and give you their own orders of how they want the patient to be taken care of. Then the dietitian will come. The patient is supposed to be fed this. You need to monitor their intake and output, etc. The dietitian come and do their own thing. Then the social workers come and they have their own orders. Then the doctors come. They have their orders about medication, what dressings you're supposed to be doing, etc. This patient needs to have a scan, etc. Then the patient needs to go for the scan. The scan people will tell you, no, this patient needs to have this type of IV line, this needs to happen before they go for the scan. There's just constant things that you're supposed to be doing for someone else. And another frustrating thing is that you're constantly doing other people's jobs instead of nursing. If you ask any nurse, how many times have you been asked to sort out the diet, to sort out the light, to sort out the table, to sort out the bedding? Things that are not in your scope of practice, things that have got nothing to do with you, that have whole departments that are supposed to be taking care of these things. These people are not taking care of these things, and it ends up being burdened on us. How many times have patients come to us and told us the doctors are being late, they're not coming, they haven't been seen by the doctor in the past 2 days or whatever, they haven't gotten their coffee, their food is cold. What does that have to do with me? The hostess, the kitchen people, they are there to sort it out. The doctor, when they're late, I don't control the doctor's schedule. I don't know when the doctor is coming. You must speak to your doctor. But the frustrating thing is when the doctor comes, the patients will not say anything. They'll just smile. Oh, hi, doctor. Oh, thank you so much for coming. The doctor is there with them for 2 seconds and the doctor is on their way. And who gets to sort out all their complaints? Us. And the frustrating thing is patients will forget to ask something from the doctor, and guess whose responsibility that now becomes you. So there's constantly being things that we are being added on and added on and added on. Things that we have to do. There was a lady that I was watching on TikTok about the mental load that us as females have to do in relationships and things like that. And it's the same thing that we can bring to nursing, is that we're constantly now being forced to take on mental loads of other people's jobs, and that we have to sort it out on top of the things that we're already doing. In addition to the documentation that we do, there's so many things that could be streamlined, there's so many things that could be automated. There's honestly one person that could be hired just to do documentation. Yes, the things to do with wound care that you've done, assessments, medication, yes, the RNs or the person administering the medication can document that, but there's just other general things that they can document. If a family member calls, there needs to be someone who's dealing with those calls and documenting. If a doctor comes and does ward runs, someone can document that stuff. There's just certain things that honestly could be taken off our load and someone else can do it, but no, the nurses are supposed to be handling that. And guys, it's a lot. We are so burnt out from the mental load of I have so many things to do and these extra things that you constantly be doing. And then the must now gonna come. We need to have in-service training. We need to have meetings about uniform. Oh my God, I don't have time. Unfortunately, management is not on our side as nurses. And that's a thing that frustrates us, is because these people have been put in these positions to be able to help us, to be able to represent our grievances and things happening on the floor, so that we communicate to them, so that they can take it to higher management in the 5 million meetings that they have every single day, so that they can go and represent us. And I'm really not sure what happens in those meetings, because the things every single year we will have the same issues, every single year we will have the same complaints. Unfortunately, nothing is happening. It's always we've brought it up to management, it's been escalated to management, it's escalated and it's going away. Patient ratios, patient abuse, being spoken down to by doctors, being abused by doctors and them treating us like we are their mates, resources not being available in the hospital. All of these things is things that we're constantly complaining about. And every single year, every single day, we're still dealing with the same thing. And the other thing is nurses, especially your direct supervisor, your unit managers, they're supposed to be protecting the staff. If things go wrong within the ward, they're the ones that are supposed to be dealing with it without it escalating to upper management and that sort of thing. But most unit managers, If something goes wrong, they are willing to throw their nurses under the bus to protect themselves. It's always about themselves and how they can get out of trouble. And there's constant rules that are being brought up by people that are in top management that do not realize things that are happening on the floor. And we are constantly being on the receiving end of laws, regulations, and standards of operations that would be enforced on us that do not work. Like, we honestly do not have the capacity to enforce these things, but we're constantly being expected to take on these things because management said so. And there was a video that I made a couple months ago. I was watching a podcast with Trevor Noah, and in that podcast, they do this game where they say, if I ruled the world, what would be something that you would want to be a written law? And honestly, a written law that I'd want to come into effect is for us to be randomly assigned our duties. And what I mean by that is, like in a hospital setup, on any random day, you just wake up and you're in a different role. Whether you're going to be the hostess, whether you're in top management, whether you're now the doctor, just for us to understand each other's roles and what it actually takes to be in those roles. Because I feel like so many rules that management comes up with do not work on the floor, and it is because they're not on the floor. They're not seeing things, they're not experiencing things as they are happening. And as a result, they are making these laws based on what they think would happen, based on this theoretical, futuristic way of how a hospital is supposed to function. But on the floor, things are not functioning as they wanted to, and we're constantly being on the receiving end of these regulations that are just not working for us. In addition to that, we're now having very toxic work environments. And they are toxic because of a number of different issues. First off, the relationships between doctors and nurses is atrocious. Yes, they are lovely nurses. They are lovely doctors. They are doctors that respect us as nurses. They collaborate with us. They listen to us when we say, this issue is happening with this patient. They allow us to be able to advocate for our patients. They allow us to be able to speak to each other and say, doctor, this medication is not working for this patient. Can we try something else? And we're able to have that good relationship with doctors. But there's other doctors that they think they're our supervisors, they are our managers, and they're not. Nurses and doctors, same level, just in different roles. And those type of doctors make our life a living hell, because if certain things that they want done now, they want it done immediately, and I, as a nurse, might not have the capacity to be able to fulfill that order. That's the first problem. The second thing is, we might not even have the resources, or the medication is not available for what they want, and they will throw a fit that these things are not happening. And there was a hospital that I worked at. Every little minor inconvenience, every little thing that did not happen for this doctor's way, it went straight to management. And guess what management does? They would defend the doctor. Come high water, they will defend the doctor always. And us as nurses, we must just submit and do what the doctors want. So this whole thing of the doctors are higher up in the hierarchy must just stop. We are tired of the abuse being spoken down to, being spoken like we're idiots, and we don't know what we're doing because the doctors think they're smarter than us. It needs to stop. It's getting so frustrating. And I've heard of so many stories where nurses have gone and taken doctors to court and they've won these cases. And honestly, we need to start doing that, because there's so many doctors that are getting away with it because everyone is scared to speak out against the doctor. Or even if you speak about it with management doesn't want to get involved, and you must just wallow up. I've had multiple incidences with doctors, and there was certain incidences that I reported, and guess what management would say? Oh, we'll escalate it with the doctor. And guess what? The doctor came, he apologized. 2 weeks later, we were back at it again. So they don't take us seriously, and it's becoming extremely toxic. So there's that relationship between us and the doctors. Then there's the relationship between us and the nurses. The bullying. The people trying to get in each other's businesses and speaking badly about each other because they want to appear better than, they want to get better positions. the cattiness, the bitchiness, if I can put it that way. There's just way too many bullying and mistreatment that is happening between us as nurses. And there was a comment that someone made in a video that I made that we are literally self-destructing the profession within amongst ourselves because we're constantly bickering and fighting amongst each other. And it's a horrible environment to walk in. Where you walk in, you know you have beef with this person, you have beef with this person. Whatever shift you're on, you're fighting with someone. And that's a horrible environment to work in. Like, nursing is amazing when you guys are working as a team, you've got a good dynamic, things are flowing. But if you're constantly fighting, that's just taking a lot of your mental energy on top of the mental load and mental energy that you have to use for your work. And it's just getting so exhausting. And then obviously the lack of respect and abuse that we're experiencing from patients is unbelievable. Especially in private. Oh God. In private, there's certain patients that they think because they're paying a medical aid, it means that they're paying your salary. And as a result, they feel sort of entitled to treat you anyhow, speak to you anyhow, demand extraordinary things from you, and just talk really badly, especially the family members. Family members having unrealistically high expectations of how we're supposed to be treating their family members, or you have patients that come into the hospital acting like it's a hotel. They want to be pampered, they want to be having a little bell and say everything that they want must happen. And I understand that, yes, sometimes we might not give our patients the attention that they need. But if I'm busy, I'm busy. But yeah, the abuse, the lack of respect, the undermining that they do, like if a nurse says something, they will ignore it and they want a doctor to confirm the same thing that I've done. I've literally had a patient where I told them, this is the medication that you're getting, this is the reason why your doctor prescribed it, and they refused to take the medication because they want the doctor to tell them. The doctor walked in and the doctor told them the exact same thing. And the amount of respect they gave that doctor was unbelievable. And I was like, literally, that was the same thing that I just told you. So that is just becoming so unbearable. And it's heartbreaking for us as nurses because I'm like, we're doing so much to serve our patients. We're doing so much to take care of their needs, to make sure that they're well taken care of. And us as nurses that love to do our job, we become so disheartened because you're like, so then why am I even caring for you if you don't care about me? You don't show me any respect. Like, we've had so many stories in the news where nurses are being robbed by their communities. There was a story in Limpopo where nurses were raped by people within their community. So how are we expecting nurses to continually be accepting and be on the receiving end of all this abuse and all of this toxicity, and we're just supposed to take it up on our shoulders because we chose this career because it's a higher quality? Oh my gosh, nursing, I could never do what you do, but you abuse me when you become a patient. No man, guys, it just needs to stop. I know I'm sounding very angry when I'm making this video, but it's just been things that have just been weighing down on me. And I'm like, I'm only 3 years into this profession. Now imagine people that have been doing this for 30 years. And I don't think I could last for 30 years. And I understand why people are like, I'm tapping out. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm over this. And I get it. Like, we're just so tired of it. Now imagine you're dealing with all of this. And then we are now dealing with the long hours that we have to work as nurses. Whether you're working day shift or whether you're working night shift, you're working 12 hours. You're on your feet. You're constantly busy. Whether it's busy you just fulfilling your orders, or you're busy running around to try to get medication or resources because there's nothing in the unit, you're just doing your job for 12 hours. And it's tiring and it's exhausting. And because we are short-staffed in the hospitals, which is another big problem that I'll get into, we are short-staffed. That means you might work your shift and you might have to work overtime because there is no one else who can work. and they need work, and you feel bad for your colleagues and you want to go come and support them. But we're just so tired, especially nurses that are on night shift. I've been on night shift now for 2 months, and I feel like I'm losing my mind. Like, I'm just so tired. There was a day or 2 days that I was off. On the first day that I was off, I slept at around 10 or sometime around 12 because I couldn't sleep. I woke up the next day at 4 p.m. That's how exhausted I was. Because one, your body naturally is not supposed to be awake at night. You are forcing your body to be on a completely opposite circadian rhythm. Your body is under so much intense pressure. And then during the day, most of us, we don't sleep well because you're getting phone calls, people want to make appointments, there's noise happening. People are doing life during the day and you're supposed to be sleeping. And you honestly can't have life. Like, I find it so difficult to schedule anything with anyone because I'm like, the day that I come off, I just want to sleep for 2 days. And by the time I wake up, I'm back at work again and trying to schedule appointments before work. Now you're missing out on sleep. Like, it's just so much. And that's the thing, is we are breaking apart ourselves as nurses bit by bit every single day. And we're doing it because we love our profession. We care for our patients. We want to provide the best care as possible. But we are exhausted. We are worn down completely. And we're constantly told, you must practice self-care. You must you must take care of yourself. How are we supposed to take care of ourselves when at home we are being abused, and when we get home we can't even rest or we can't even have life because we're constantly turned on? That's other thing that we don't speak about enough in nursing, is that thing of not being able to turn off from work. Whether it's you hearing the alarms from work or you thinking about the patient, did I complete this order, did I not? And managers that want to call you when you're off to ask about things that happened at work. Oh my God, can you just wait until I come back to work? So it's just that thing of, even if you're off, you're not off completely. Your mind is constantly thinking about work. And guys, it's not healthy. Like in any other setup, we expect it to be an abnormality. But in nursing, it's just a norm. And at work, we're dealing with people dying. It's so interesting that you literally can resusc a patient and the patient doesn't make it. You call the family, you document, you sue the family. That can all happen within a space of an hour. After that hour, you must just put it behind you and you're moving on. You've got other duties that you're supposed to be fulfilling. But if this was supposed to happen on the outside, someone sees someone dying, we are all distraught. For the next couple of days, we're all distraught because someone died in front of us. But in nursing, we're just supposed to just continue on with life. And that takes a big toll on us emotionally. And I think most nurses, we have desensitized ourselves to feeling any of these emotions, or we've learned to dissociate ourselves from these emotions and these situations. I remember there was a night when one of my patients died, and my husband called me after, because I was on night shift, he was at home, so he was calling in to check up so we can catch up. So he was asking, oh, how's night shift? I'm like, oh, night shift, it's going all right. One of my patients died. And I moved on, like I just said it casually. Oh, one of my patients died. And he literally stopped me. He was like, do you realize how abnormal that is? That you can just speak about death so casually. And it's just part of life. And as nurses, we are expected to do that every single day. That we're seeing these traumatic issues, and it's just another Tuesday at work, and we go home and we deal with it, and the next day we must come back and just continue. And guys, it's not normal. And we just expected for it to be normal. And even if you are to take like those mental health days, they are so limited. Like, it's not like they can afford to give us a mental health day for every single death that we experience. We can't, because we'd all be in therapy 24/7 with the amount of things that we're seeing. So it's just those things where I'm just like, the people that are supposed to be caring for the nation are not being taken care of. And we're going to wake up one day and there's not going to be anyone in healthcare. Like, I don't know if any of you saw the recent case of Dr. Mazwi. He collapsed at work and he was told to come back to work the next day. And this is people that are supposed to be taking care of a nation. But we're not even allowed to be given the space to take care of ourselves because we're constantly giving and giving of ourselves to this job. And honestly, people are saying enough. Like, it honestly is enough. We cannot continue doing this. We are slowly killing our healthcare workers. And guys, it's not normal. Like, it just frustrates me every single time that I think about it. And the other reasons why I've heard people leaving bedside nursing is because of the lack of career development options. And I'm two-sided about this one. One, there's a lot of in-service training and there's a lot of courses that nurses are allowed to do. But the thing is, they're not readily available and they're not well known. It's not like something that's advertised like, hey, sisters, there's this course that's happening, go and do it. It's something that you have to ask yourself, and then your manager has to now motivate for you to go for it and things like that. So I can understand why people would say there's lack of career advancement options. Yeah, it's not information that's readily there, especially when I was doing my research about nursing specialties and all of that. Like, I literally had to dig and I had to like DM people that are working in these specialties and just asking, guys, how does it work? But yeah, the options are there. You just have to research a lot. Like, for example, if you are in pediatric nursing, UCT has 6-week courses throughout the year about child nursing, but obviously it comes at a cost. So if management could pay, I know some hospitals actually pay for like your study leave and things like that, but like for these extra courses, like I feel like all nurses that are working in medical and surgical, they need to be sent for like a wound care training course, just for us to learn about all these different dressings that are coming in, all these different techniques or how to take care of wounds. That can be something that the hospital can improve on. Nurses that are working in specialist wards, they need to be sending these nurses to do courses. So yeah, so the opportunities are there, they're just not readily available and they're not readily put out there like, this is what you can do. You have to ask and you have to have conversations with people, then they'll let you know, oh yeah, you can do this, I heard from this person, or at this hospital this is what they did and things like that. So if it can be just something that's a bit more out there and something that's a bit more structured. Like, for example, if you start working in a medical ward, they should say at least after 6 months, they should send you for maybe diabetic management training. Then maybe after another 6 months, then you'd go do a wound care training. Like, it must be something that's a bit more systematic and more organized. Like, it's a must after every milestone. I think it would help nurses a bit more because, guys, we have a lot on our mind. Not everyone is constantly thinking about, maybe I should be going to do a course and things like that. But if it's something that is structured, that after a certain milestone, you must go for a certain training, I think that would work much better because it equips our nurses with skills. It helps our nurses able to move up in the ranks and getting higher positions. Or like, for example, becoming a clinical nurse specialist of a certain ward and things like that. We need more nurses like that. And also it helps us to be able to negotiate our salary better, because obviously we always need more money and things like that. So if it can be something that's a bit more systematic, that would really help a lot. But yeah, it's definitely not something that's like easily or readily advertised out there. Okay. I do not expect to cry in this video, but yeah, anyway, it is what it is. Then the other reasons why people obviously are leaving bedside nursing, or they're leaving nursing in general, is obviously the financial strain, and also because of personal reasons. Financial strain, the amount of money that nurses are being paid is half of what doctors are earning. And we are with our patients 24/7. And I get it. The pay scale, or how salaries are calculated, is based on your NQF levels, your years of qualification, how many years you trained, etc. Nurses and doctors, we're all NQF level 8. Yes, they had more years of training. Yes, there's much higher thinking or more critical thinking work that they have to do. I understand that. But we are with the patients 24/7. We are the ones that notice when things are going wrong, when patients are not reacting well to the treatment, when they're crushing. Every little small minute thing, we are the ones noticing it 24/7. And we're not even being afforded or being given the opportunity to earn as much as the work that we're doing. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then I was having a conversation with some of the nurses that are permanent, and I'm currently working via agency. And they're like, sister, you must never become permanent. I'm like, guys, what do you mean? Like, my heart is yearning to become permanent. This agency thing is getting tiring. They're like, sister, this is my salary. And we literally, that nurse, she literally went through her salary with me. She showed me how much is paid by the hospital, what SARS takes away, the deductions for medical aid, deductions for this and this and this. And she literally said by the time it's the third of the month, she has 300 Rand in her account. And that 300 Rand has to afford her the food and the transport to get to work for the rest of the month. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. The amount of work and the amount of energy that we're giving to this profession and the amount of money we're getting, guys, it doesn't make sense. And I know people were saying, even if we're earning millions, it would never be enough. Yes, it will never be enough, guys. We're doing a lot as nurses. We are doing a lot. And I feel like it's high time that the salary for nurses is recalculated, because the amount of time, effort, and energy that we're putting into these patients, it's not being accurately represented in our salary. Then obviously other paychecks, other personal reasons why people are leaving bedside nursing or nursing in general is obviously people want to have babies, people want to have more freedom with their time. These 12-hour shifts do not work. And as a result, either people are moving into private healthcare, clinics. I saw a lot of nurses that are doing working for medical aids, either being a consultant or being a nurse that goes and does the checks for people that are signing up for medical aids. People are going into the corporate era, and I know this has been something that's trending. I'm doing a video on it soon about these corporate nursing jobs where people are being afforded the 9 to 5 that everyone else has, where you're clocking in at 9, clocking out at 5, and you don't get to think about work. Work stays at home. You get to enjoy your weekends. You get to enjoy your holidays. You get to enjoy your public holidays. And you're just having more free time, and you actually get to experience life as a working professional, which I think that as bedside nurses or nurses that are on 12-hour shifts, we don't get to experience that. Because honestly, it's long shifts. You're leaving home 5 a.m. early morning, you're getting home 7, 8 o'clock. And all you can do when you get home is eat, bath, and sleep. and tomorrow you repeat again. And when you're off, you need a day to rest. Then after the day of rest, you're now preparing to go back to work. It just does not make sense. So yeah. Then the last thing obviously that I want to discuss is the nursing shortage. This is a big problem everywhere in South Africa and across the world. And I don't even know what the remedy is anymore, because yes, we have nurses that are being hired, and then we still have a shortage. So hospitals, they're like, okay, let's bring in agency nurses to cover the gaps of where we don't have nurses. We have agency nurses coming in on top of the permanently employed nurses, and we're still having a shortage of nurses. Then, on the other hand, you're having nurses that can't find work, they're unemployed because posts are frozen. People are applying, but they're not getting callbacks of being employed. It just doesn't make sense that there's so many people that are graduating from universities every single year. Over 10,000 students are graduating every single year from universities in South Africa alone, and you're telling me that hospitals are unable to hire enough nurses. A ward cannot function on all your staff being agency staff. Like, it just cannot function like that. Why are you not hiring more nurses? And yes, I understand it's cheaper using agency staff nurses, because obviously you're not paying for their medical aids, you're not paying for the retirement, whatever. You're just paying for their basic salary and the go. It's cheaper than taking someone else permanently. But at least you need someone who's permanent on every single shift. But no, most wards are functioning on agency staff, and some hospitals cannot even afford to have agency staff, and as a result, the permanent staff members that are there, they are suffering, because now one nurse is doing the work of 3 or 4 nurses because there's no one else to do the job. So it's definitely a lot about mismanagement of money, management, finding ways to motivate the reasons why they're not hiring more nurses, and it's at the cost of the nurses that are currently in the wards. And the more they continue doing this, the more that they're going to leave. And I mean, like, if it's this bad in your private sector, in your urban areas, now imagine what's happening in rural areas where no one wants to go there. It's not that great being there. Everything is far away, there's no resources, etc. Now imagine how much the shortage is there. So yeah, definitely there needs to be a lot of systematic restructuring of how the healthcare system is set up, because the nurses or the healthcare staff that is within the system, they are suffering, and management is constantly making it harder and harder for us to continue functioning in the system. Simple example, SANG took away bridging courses, and especially for your ENs, your staff nurses, they cannot progress to become RNs through a bridging course. Now they have to go start again from afresh and do a bachelor or a diploma, which is 3 years that they're wasting. Compared to previous years, I had a unit manager tell me a story of how she moved from being a carer to being a unit manager because of the bridging courses. She became a carer, she became an ENA, she became an EN, she became an RN, all through bridging courses. And then she did a management course and she became a unit manager and is now managing a ward. And these bridging courses helped a lot of those nurses to be able to move and progress with life. Because when you start a degree, you might not have enough money to do a bachelor's. So you're like, okay, let me at least do an enrolled nursing degree, or let me at least do a higher certificate. And when I start earning, then I can save up money, then I can bridge and go further. But now that that has been taken away, a lot of nurses can't do that. Meaning that as the years go by, as more staff nurses are retiring, we're not going to have staff nurses anymore. We're going to be expecting other diploma nurses to be fulfilling that role of staff nurses. So you just see those structural conclusions that are being made by management or people that are running the healthcare system that just don't make sense on the floor. And yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, obviously this is my very long rant and very passionately, angrily, and rightly so, of just how messed up the system is. Just, yeah, it's not being managed well, unfortunately. And yeah, it's just been getting very much frustrating being in this profession. I had a comment from a newly graduated nurse. He was saying that when he started the career, he was very passionate, as we all are when we get started. And the longer he's getting into it, because of all these structural issues, he's just losing the passion completely. And I get it. Like every time now that I wake up to go to work, I just think to myself, like, why didn't I choose a 9 to 5 job? Like, why didn't I just go do some administration job? You clock in, you clock out, life is easy, probably got it, everything, you're just off and you're enjoying life. But it's because we love this career, we love what it represents, we love what we're able to do with it, the different roles, the different opportunities that we get from this career. We love all of those things. But if those things are going to happen at the cost of our own health and mental well being, then what is the point? And that is the main reason why most people are leaving bedside nursing, or they are leaving nursing in general, because it's just like, I'm tired. I cannot continue doing this. I cannot continue killing myself for this profession. And you're not even getting a thanks for the work that you, like, you will work yourself to the bone. And no one will even say, thank you, sister. I know today you worked hard. No one might have seen it, but I saw it. And I thank you. And yeah, and I know people will say, no, but you don't do your job to get accolades. Trust me, we need the accolades. We need the thank yous. We need the applauds. Because, guys, we are doing a lot for this profession. And yeah, sometimes it just feels like you're doing it in vain, because you do it and you still get criticized for it. You don't do it, you get criticized. And then you're just like, so what do you want me to do now? But yeah, guys, I really don't want this video to be one-sided. I want you to get very much engaged in the comment section and let me know what are you guys' thoughts about this profession and where nursing is going. And yeah, what are your thoughts if you're a new nurse, if you're a student nurse, what are your thoughts? Um, what do you think could be the remedies to all these issues that are causing a lot of nurses to leave the profession? Because yeah, the profession can't keep getting smaller, because obviously the generations are getting older, meaning that we're going to have a lot more sick people as the years go by, and we need a stronger workforce. But if people are being chased out of the workforce, then what now? I remember I went to a career day. It was so hard to get people to come speak to me about my career, because people are just like, healthcare, not for me. I don't have the heart for it. And I'm like, I understand. Like, I genuinely understand it's not for everyone. But we need the manpower to come into the system. But if the system is working against us, then what then? So yeah, comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts. I know this was a very lengthy video, but yeah, it's just been something that's been weighing heavy on my heart. Yeah, you're just going to work every day and you're just constantly thinking about this thing. You're constantly thinking, when is my next off? Oh my gosh, when am I going to leave this career? Oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing this for the next 30 years. I don't know. For me myself, I know after 5 years I'm done with bedside nursing. If that means leaving the profession altogether, then so be it. But I've just, this year especially, I've just reached my limits, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. Um, yeah, I'm hoping to go back to school and possibly get into education, just teaching and equipping future nurses of just how to handle it being in this career. But if I stay in it, I'm going to get more and more frustrated by the day. But yeah, anyway, without rambling any further, the only thing I'm going to ask is just comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Until next week, Friday, 12 p.m. South African time. Have an awesome month. Bye, guys.